Remember that a vertical line is a line of the form x equals something. For example, if this is 2, this is the line x equals 2. It's a vertical line and it has no slope. While a horizontal line, let's say, for example, this line, let's suppose that this is 1, this is y equal 1, this one has a slope 0. When we have two lines and they are either vertical or horizontal, it is easy to tell if they are parallel or perpendicular. Let's assume that we have two lines and that they are neither parallel nor perpendicular. Then let's draw those two lines. And if the second line is parallel to the first one, it's easy to see that the only way that can happen is if the two lines has the same slope. Then let's write that down. Two lines, let's say two different lines are parallel if they have the same slope. To decide if two lines are perpendicular, we notice that if one line is like that, then the other line must be like this. If one line is increasing, the other line must be decreasing. That means that if the slope of one line is positive, the slope of the other line should be negative. And to be precise, if this line has a slope m1 and this one has a slope m2, then the relation between the two slopes is the following. m1 times m2 must be equal to -1. That means that this slope must be equal to -1 over m1. That means the second slope must be the reciprocal of the first slope and then multiplied by -1. This is the relation between perpendicular lines. Remember that we are assuming that the two lines are not neither vertical nor horizontal. Then these slopes are different from 0. Let's do some examples. If we have two lines like 2x minus 3y equal 1 and 2x plus y equal 4. Are these lines perpendicular or parallel? Then we need to compute the slopes. To compute the slope, once we have the equation, we need to solve for y. Let's solve for y here. We have that 2x minus 1 is equal to 3y. I move the 3y there. And when I divide by 3, I get that y is 2/3 of x minus 1/3. The slope of this line is 2/3. Let's see this line. We can solve for y. Then this is -2x plus 4. And that means that the slope of this line, let's call this the slope 2. Let's call this the slope 1. The slope 2 is -2. That means that they are not perpendicular and they are not parallel. Notice that if I do m2 times m1, I get that this is -2 times 2/3 and this is -4/3. If they were perpendicular, this product should have been -1, but this is not the case. That means that these lines are not parallel and not perpendicular. Let's do some easy cases. If we have something like y equal 3x minus 1 and y equal 3x plus 5, then clearly these two lines are parallel because this one has a slope m1 equal 3 and this one has a slope also 3. Then since they have the same slope, then they are parallel. Let's do another example. We have the lines 4x minus y equals 7 and x plus 4y equal 4. Then let's decide if these lines are parallel or perpendicular or linear. In this case, we can solve for y, and we get that y, when I move the y to the right, I get that y is 4x minus 7, and that means that the slope of this line is 4, and here I have that 4y equal 4 minus x, and therefore y is 4 over 4 minus x over 4. Therefore, the second slope, or the slope of this line, is negative 1/4. Notice that the coefficient of x here is negative 1/4. And let's see, if we check the product of the two slopes, we have 4 times negative 1/4, and this is just negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. They are perpendicular lines. Let's now solve this problem. Let's suppose that we want to compute the line that goes through the point 2, 3 and is perpendicular to the line, let's say 2x plus 4y equal 8. Then we can have a picture of this. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is the point 2, 3 is this point, and we can do the graph of this. When x equals 0, y is 2. It goes through this point, and this line also, if y is 0, x is equal to 4. Then this is the equation of this line, and we want to find the equation that is perpendicular to this line and goes through this point. That line looks something like this. Then what we need to do first is we need to compute the slope of this line. Notice that that line has equation 2x plus 4y equal 8. To get the slope, we need to solve for y. Then we have 4y equal 8 minus 2x, and when I divide by 4, I get that y is 8 over 4 minus 2 over 4x, which is 2 minus 1/2 of x, which means that the slope of this line is, let's say slope 1 is negative 1/2. Notice that it makes sense that the slope is negative because this line is decreasing. Then the slope of this line, let me do it with blue. The slope of this line is m2 equal the reciprocal of this number, and we need to also change the sign. Then the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2, and it's negative, then the slope of this line is 2. And then we have a point, and we have the slope. Then we do y minus y sub 0 equal to the slope times x minus x sub 0. For this line, we have that y minus y sub 0 is 3, should be equal to 2 times x minus x sub 0, which is 2. And then we have that y is equal to 3 plus 2x minus 4. And then y is 2x minus 1.